Hi everyone, welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm broadcasting to you this session from beautiful Budapest, Central Europe, capital city of Hungary, where we're experiencing some blue skies, great weather today here at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. All right, today this is a members chat class. If you're a member, you can chat and comment. If not, you're able to watch but not comment. Our member perks include these special once a week members chat requested classes, as well as access to our 6 full practice exams that we use in the live streams taken from our websites, and access to over 100 hours of exclusive video content. So it's good to be a member of Academic English Help YouTube channel. Materials are coming from our websites, aehelp.com for academic IELTS, gltshelp.com for general IELTS. Good afternoon to you as well, Mahe, or it might be evening for you by now. In that case, good evening. All right, if anybody has questions about IELTS, memberships, our channels, our software, our exams, don't be shy. Send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com. That's my name, ADRIAN @aehelp.com. Hi, Marwa. Hi, Preeti. Hi, Begzod. Good to see members jumping in on this class. Don't forget, members, to make some requests for these classes. I had a late request come in for this one. I wasn't actually sure about their membership, but hey, it was a good request, so we're doing this task 2 today. All right, tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday, there's no class, students. On the 9th, we're back with speaking part 1 and 2. Okay, so speaking part 1 and 2 on Wednesday. Continuing with that. Here is our IELTS Task 2 question for the day. You should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Write at least 250 words. Mahe, you're asking me if you can ask the examiner's name? You mean like in the speaking section? Yeah, sure. Yeah, and they'll probably give you their first name. May I ask, what is your name? They might say, my name is Mike. Sure, Mahe. Hi, Naveen. Good to see you in class. Okay, so 40 minutes. Definitely spend 40 minutes on task 2. It's worth 2/3 of your writing score. And write at least 250 words. So practice at home to reach 250 words with good quality writing, so you can get a nice score for task completion. Here's today's question. This was submitted by a student. They said this was posted by British Council. I'm not sure about that, but it's a good question anyway. It's a little bit different than the usual. Let's read it together. So, children over 15 should be allowed to make decisions about their lives without the interference of their parents or teachers. Society should accept that children mature at a younger age these days and should adjust the law accordingly. Discuss this statement to your own society or a society that you know well. Okay. Give explanations and examples to support your opinion. So, members, what kind of a question is this? So what type of a question are we dealing with for this task 2? Let's figure that out before we start writing. Remember, it's really important to clearly understand the task 2 question before you begin writing, because if you write about the wrong information, your band score will skydive faster than a pigeon flying to the ground. So careful about that, okay? So Naveen says it's a persuasive essay, and Begzad says it's first person because it says discuss this statement to your own society or a society that you know well. Absolutely first person, so I, me, my. It's not an open question, Kesey. I would say that this is a closed question. Try to paraphrase it. So rephrase this question in your own words. Okay? And sometimes these questions appear quite complicated, like this one. So you should try to simplify it. You can actually ask this question in a more simple way. So we definitely know in our planning that this is a persuasive essay plus its first person author voice. So you're using I, me, my. Do not use you. Okay, myself. It's okay. Should you be talking about one side or both sides or advantages or disadvantages? Hi, Baljit. Good to see you in class. So lots of members in here today. It's nice to see. So what's the nature of this question? What's the nature of it? Is it advantages, disadvantages, agree, disagree, discuss both sides? It's not an open question. It's a closed question. Okay, well, let's paraphrase it. Okay, I'm going to paraphrase it. You do the same, and then we can make sure that we understand the question and we have some good vocabulary for our essay. So instead of children, right, so I'm going from here. Instead of children, I will use the word adolescents. All right, so there is my paraphrase of the original. Hopefully you're doing some of this as well on your own. I'd like to imagine that you're writing this down at home in your own words. So again, the original question, children over 15 should be allowed to make decisions about their lives without the interference of their parents or teachers. Society should accept that children mature at a younger age these days and should adjust the law accordingly. Discuss this statement to your own society or a society that you know well. And then I paraphrase this as adolescents above the age of 15 should be permitted to choose their own path. It's a little correction here. To choose their own path in life without control from teachers or guardians. Communities need to observe that kids grow up faster nowadays, and we need to change societal rules in accordance. Express your thoughts about this in regards to your own society or one that you know well. So hopefully everybody is clear now about the question at hand, and now we can answer better. So Begzad says infants. Begzad, infants are newborns between the age of 0 and 1, so that won't work. But teenagers would. So teenagers above 15 years old should have a chance to choose their own life path by themselves without their parents and teachers. Communities should, and then you ran out of space, Begzad, but that's great. That's some nice paraphrasing. Good. Okay, so what is our topic here? This is definitely the question where you really want to know the topic. Before we get there, back to my original question. This is a persuasive essay, first-person voice, and it's a choose one side. So either 15-year-olds ought to be allowed to make their own life choices or not. Okay, you can't write about both here. That's not going to work. So hopefully you realize that here what you need to write about is that 15-year-olds, you agree, you think they're old enough and mature enough to make their own life decisions, or you disagree and you believe that it is absolutely the responsibility of teachers and parents to do this. Okay? So it's an agree or disagree. That's right, Baljit. Kisi says adolescents over 15 can make decisions by themselves without the interference of adults like parents or teachers. These days, children are mature at an earlier age. Therefore, society should accept this fact and make rules to support it. Good, Kisi. Good job, okay? All right, so our topic here, what is our topic, students? It's very important here to identify our topics and our controlling ideas. So the topic here, hopefully, all of you are thinking the same as what I am. The topic here is, anybody putting it up there? They're thinking, are 15-year-olds. Okay. Oh, I didn't see your paraphrase there, Naveen. Sorry. I'll take a look at it. It's definitely a good part of these member classes. So Naveen's paraphrase is, parents or children ought not to interfere with their offspring lives for those who are above 15 or who are 15 and above while they make important decisions. Communities should understand the fact that children at this age are more mature than ever before. Discuss this statement based on your own circumstances. Very good, Naveen. That was very good, okay? The first part that you wrote, it's a little bit awkward, especially with the who are above 14, that section. That's why I corrected it. But the second half, the communities should understand the fact that children at this age are more mature than ever before. That's great, okay? You've done a really nice job of paraphrasing there. Okay. All right. So the topic here is 15-year-olds. That's who we're talking about. That's who this essay is focusing on. So that's clear. Okay. Controlling idea. Is old enough. And this is what you're doing to practice at home. Now, on the IELTS, you have to do this very quickly, okay? When you're sitting in the real IELTS exam, what you see me doing here, you have to be very fast at this. So, of course, what that means, members, is you need to practice this just like you are doing today on your own time at home with original questions, okay? So, controlling idea, old enough to make important life decisions or not? All right, that's the big question. So what are 15-year-olds, right? Are people who have had 15 years of experience on Earth. Okay. Why? So why are we talking about 15-year-olds in this case? Or why do we consider 15-year-olds to be adolescents? Give me some answers here, members. So why would we consider 15-year-olds mature? Why would we consider them as having this experience? Okay, give me some ideas. So visualize, really get in there. So what is a 15-year-old? Okay, when a person's 15, what grade are they in? Usually in grade 9, right? Okay, why would we consider them to be somewhat mature? Okay, usually started puberty, right? So they're turning into a man or a woman. Right? So life experience, yeah. Sure, they have life experiences with emotions, with dangers, with benefits. They might already have their life goals. Sure. Okay, that's good, Baljeet. Yeah, their dreams. They might know what they want from life. All right, definitely. How? So how does this happen? Well, if we stick with the life goals and dreams, they know if they want to be an artist, a football player, or a doctor. Sure, it's okay. Absolutely. They might have that. All right, so controlling idea. Let's get to that one. That's going to make up the bulk of our information. So let's ask the two most important questions. What are the two most important questions to ask here so that you can write an essay that will get you a good band score? Okay, this is perhaps the most important question when you're practicing at home and you're planning to ask is, what do I need to ask for the controlling idea to think about information for a high IELTS band score, for a good essay, okay? And this is the same question in university for a high percentage or a good grade on your essay. So what are the two questions here that I need to ask for the controlling idea? Marwa, okay, you're on the right path with the why, but what's the full question? And there's two questions here before you can decide your thesis statement, right? So what's the full question? You're right about the why. Why is always almost always the best question to ask, but what's the full why question? So Naveen says, are they really mature enough? If yes, then how? So yes, Naveen, and if we combine what you just said with Marwa, then you have the question that I'm thinking. So why are 15-year-olds mature enough to make important decisions, or why are they not? Okay. So, anybody know this? So why are 15-year-olds mature enough to make their own decisions, or why are they not? Okay, why are they not? All right. So this is what you have to decide, and then you have to include a couple of key points to back this up. Okay. So can you give me 2 points for the first question? And 2 points for the second question? It's very important here. So why is a 15-year-old mature enough to make important decisions? Let's get the correct. There we go. So that would be the two right off the top of my head. They have enough life experience and they're physically capable. Okay. We could argue the opposite. Okay. One of the easy ways, students, to think about human ability always, when you have a task 2 question that's dealing with human ability, so what a human can or cannot do, is always think humans in 2 parts, as mental and as physical. We're physical one part, mental the other part, the two combine for us to be able to achieve steps in life. So any question that's dealing with human ability, one good way that you can approach it is think about our mental capacity and our physical capacity. Okay? So Marwa says, well, maybe they already have enough education by the age of 15. Sure, that would be the mental ability. So you could group the education under the mental ability. Okay? Marwa, that will connect to these points. So whether we agree or disagree, the part of should communities give them the right to make these decisions, that is a follow-up question which will connect to these points in the body paragraphs, okay? So Mahe says they are not capable to survive by themselves yet. Mahe, the more simple way to say that is they're not independent. They're not fully independent. Okay, why not? Not independent mentally. Not independent socially, right? Financially. Okay. Not fully mature physically. Okay. So it's arguable that a 15-year-old, in most cases, is not yet a fully mature human being. It's not a grown man or a grown woman, not comparable to an 18 or a 20-year-old, absolutely. All right? And Marwa says they don't have enough life experience. Okay, so now that we've thought about these points, we're on the right track. Now we can come up with our thesis statement. So let's write a good thesis statement. Members, I want you to write the thesis statement. I've doubled it up. It's so important. So write the thesis statement. I don't want to give you the thesis statement. Again, my goal here, students, is I want to teach you how to fish so you can catch a good IELTS band score every day for the rest of your life if you need it. I don't want to just give you a fish, and giving you the thesis is exactly that. So I want you to write the thesis. I'll give you a little bit of time here. Review what we have so far, and then write the thesis. And when you're doing this at home, in this step, you should review the original question, what you have identified about the question, your planning, your brainstorming, and then write a good thesis. The thesis is the cornerstone of the essay. Cornerstone, when you're talking about a building, is that big stone that holds the weight of the building. It's the cornerstone, okay? It's what everything else is built on. You need a good cornerstone for the essay to stand strong and get a high band score. So you need a good thesis statement, okay? Let's review what we have. Children over 15 should be allowed to make decisions about their lives without the interference of parents or teachers. Society should accept that children mature at a younger age these days and should adjust the law accordingly. Discuss the statement to your own society or a society that you know well. Okay, we paraphrased it. That's fine. Planning, we realize this is a persuasive essay. We definitely see it's a first-person essay, and it's choose one side. Okay, so pay really close attention to this because your thesis should clearly show all three of these elements, that it's persuasive, it's first person, and you're choosing one side. Okay? Now we realize we're talking about 15-year-olds, and these 15-year-olds, the controlling ideas, should they make decisions or not? Why should they be allowed to make decisions? Because they have enough experience and mental ability, and they have enough physical capability to do so, or they should not, because they're not independent mentally, they're not independent socially, financially. Mentally means emotionally, and they're not fully mature physically. You can only choose one of these two, okay? So you either choose this one or this one. You have to decide which is the easier to write about, especially when you're discussing your own society, okay? And then formulate your thesis. If you have a good thesis, you should have a good essay, and you should be able to write it quite quickly, okay? Even if the English is not perfect. So members, I'm looking for that thesis statement. While you're thinking about the thesis, I'll put up the 4 elements of the introductory paragraph. Okay, waiting for those thesis statements. I'll take a look at them. I don't want to give you, I'll give you my thesis after, once I've seen yours, okay? So Marwa has his thesis up, says, adolescents should be given the right to make their own decisions since they are mature enough both physically and mentally by the age of 15. Good start, Marwa. There, I would include I in your thesis. So I'd actually very clearly name the first person voice in this essay. So I believe adolescents should be given, or in my experience, adolescents at the age of 15 should be given the right to make their own decisions since they are mature enough both physically and mentally. And then you're good. Okay? So show that first person, Marwa, and then you're on the right path. Mahe says, take strong decision whether to allow or disallow to take decisions for above teenager age. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Mahe, so please rewrite it in another way so I can help you out. Kisi says, although children over 15 have enough life experience, I believe that adolescents are not mature enough either physically or mentally to make important life decisions. Okay, Kisi, that's good. So although children over 15 have much life experience, I believe they are neither mature physically nor mentally for important life decisions. And that's how, Kisi, you can use the neither nor, okay? But that was good, Kisi, that was good. It allowed me to give you an example of using neither nor in the thesis, which is great. Preeti says, I strongly believe that teenagers have enough mental and physical capabilities to choose their life goals at the age of 15 and above, so parents should not only support them, but also encourage them in these decisions. Good, Preeti. Okay, I like it. You're showing first person, I strongly believe. You're showing your 2 points for your body paragraphs, mental and physical capabilities. Sure, absolutely. And I have a very good idea of the direction of your essay. And if I read that kind of a thesis in your introduction, Preeti, then I'm already thinking as an examiner then I can give you a 6.57 or even higher, as long as the rest of the essay is fairly clear and you have some good explanations and examples. So that's good. Okay. All right. Farhim, let me just go back to what you're saying there. Where are you, Farhim? Let me just find you. Okay, so Farheen Begum says, teenagers have a dilemma whether they are a child or adult. I believe they need to be guided by adults like parents and teachers because they are neither mentally nor physically ready to make important life decisions under the age of 20. You can say that, Farheen. So I finished your sentence there, Farheen. Hopefully you caught that. But you do have a good start to it, okay? That's another thesis. There are a lot of different ways that you can write the thesis, and it's great that you're all giving me such good examples to work with, so I can show you that there are many ways to write a thesis statement, and they can all be great as long as they include what you think, 2 clear points that outline the body paragraphs, and show that you've understood the question, the topic, and the controlling idea. So great. Bagzad says, the primary reason why parents and teachers should think about 15-year-old children's life is that they are not mature enough socially and mentally to make these decisions on their own. Bagzad, another good thesis. So another good approach to your thesis statement, okay? That was number 5, I think. So all of these thesis statements, if you're writing your essay with these, so far for all of the ones that I've read, I'd be thinking, hey, okay, this student obviously has a good idea of how to write, especially for academic essays in a university or in a college, and I feel confident to give a band score of 6.5 or higher. Okay. Naveen says, I believe that children are allowed to make their decisions because they have both mental ability and critical thinking to face the further consequences of their decisions. Naveen, the one problem right away with your thesis that I can identify is when you say that they have both mental ability and critical thinking, you're repeating the same idea. So critical thinking is mental ability. These are not distinct points. So if you have that in your thesis, then especially in college or university, your professor right away would drop your score heavily because they would say you haven't identified 2 clear points for your essay. You're just repeating the same point using different words. You're just paraphrasing mental ability with critical thinking. Always make sure that you have what's called distinct points in your thesis. That's for everyone, okay? That's a common mistake. So, Naveen, I'm not picking on you. You've actually done a favor for many of our viewers that make this mistake where they don't have distinct points. They don't realize that they're talking about the same point just using different words. So careful with that, especially in university. Okay, Vanity Sean says, teenagers may be allowed to make important life decisions as they are physically and mentally capable without the guidance of parents or their full support. So Vanity, be clear on which side you're taking here. When you use the word may be allowed, that already worries me a little bit, that you're not taking a clear position in your persuasive argument, okay, in the direction of your argument. You have to be clear on that, okay? All right, so good job, by the way. That was good, all right? I'm going to take Kesey's thesis here just because using those correlative conjunctions is really good to increase your IELTS band scores. And if I can see a nice correlative conjunction in the thesis, that's really an indicator for a good piece of writing and one deserving of a higher band score. So In my experience, most 15-year-olds, 15-year-old children or adolescents, teenagers, are not yet old enough to make important life decisions. Neither do they possess the social, mental, or physical maturity to guarantee optimum results or outcomes. And I can do this two parts, so I can add a little bit more because it's asking about the rules of society. Therefore, society should not change existing rules, but rather encourage parents and teachers to be active participants in these vital choices. Vital means important for life, so that works well. All right, so that's my thesis statement. In my experience, most 15-year-old adolescents are not yet old enough to make important life decisions. Neither do they possess social, mental, or physical maturity to guarantee optimum outcomes. Therefore, society should not change existing rules, but rather encourage parents and teachers to be active participants in these vital choices. Okay, so now I can write my introduction and start with a hook. So a hook has to be, again, an interesting fact that most people will agree on, that will catch the reader's attention. Think about your hook, members. Write up your hook. I will do the same right now. Don't worry about what I'm doing right now. Worry about your hook. You can look at my hook after, okay? So here we go. Write your hook, okay? Hooks should not take long. It should be fast. Visualize it, okay? All right, keep writing your hook. I'm already on my background. Okay, background has, of course, the definitions of topic and importance of question. Okay, so what or who are we talking about? Why is it important? Okay. Let's see your hooks. If you fall behind, that's okay. I'm going to pick up a little bit of pace here so we can get a little bit of work done. Don't worry about it. Okay. All right, still looking for those hooks, members, just like those thesis statements. Those were great. I want you to keep going, so don't be shy. If you make a mistake, that's fine. That's how we learn. All right, Naveen. Nowadays, Western cultures are allowing adolescents to live independently and make their own choices at an early age. So, Naveen, I would finish that up with at an early age, okay? Or under the age of 18, something like that, Naveen, just to give us a little bit more context. Remember, the hook is usually connected or contains the actual topic, which is 15-year-olds or the age of maturity in this case, right? The age of independence or the age of maturity, all right? So the topic should include that. I guess, Naveen, you could argue with me and you could say, hey, Adrian, I'm saying adolescence. They're allowing adolescents to live independently, and the word adolescence includes the idea. Sure, I'll take that. It's a fair argument. I'm doing a bit of self-argument there, Naveen, since you're not in the room with me and don't have the option of real-time argument. But I'm guessing, I know you're quite intelligent, and I'm guessing that's what you might be thinking at that point. All right? Okay, this is what I wrote for my hook. The age of maturity has changed in different times and different places throughout history, which is true. When we visualize this question, this topic, we realize that men and women have been considered mature at different ages, in different times, in different cultures, in different places around the world, historically. So that does change, okay? Oh, Manisha, you've joined in as well. Good to see you. Manisha says, the modern day world has greatly influenced the age of maturity. Manisha, that's a great hook. That will work. Okay? Yeah. Absolutely. Modern world has. I would say the modern world, so I would emphasize it as unique in this case, Manisha, but it works. The modern world has greatly influenced the age of maturity. Good. That works. Okay. Farheen says, presently plenty of changes can be seen throughout the world because of the development of technology and generational differences. Farheen, it's a bit convoluted. I don't really get what you're saying with that. Not really, okay? Even though I understand what you're writing, I don't get what you're saying. Make it simpler, okay? Your hook, Farheen, should be simpler than that. Don't overcomplicate it. Manisha, you haven't read the question, but it still makes sense, your hook, okay? The question, I think it's in the stream description, so you can see it there. Okay? Begzod says, there has been drastic change in the way of thinking of our young generations compared to the last century. I wouldn't say history, Begzod, because history is long and has a lot of different aspects to it, a lot of different moving parts going on. So I think it's kind of awkward to say history, but if you compare it to the last century, then definitely I think that's correct. Okay. All right. So I put up my background here. Hopefully you would come up with something similar. So many people feel that teenagers from the age of 15 have reached a level of maturity whereby they can make appropriate life choices. Whether or not this is true has an important impact on the development of future generations in work and family life. Okay? Why? Because those are our big life decisions, right? Our family, so who we choose as our life partner, who we get married to, whether or not we have children, and our work, what we do in our profession, what we choose as our life goals to pursue, to accomplish, to achieve in. So that's what we're focusing on. And then now I can just throw in my thesis statement. And if you're doing this on a computer when you practice at home, which is okay, you should do pencil and paper as well. Then you can just copy paste. You don't have to repeat. But hey, repetition or typing it out again could be good practice. So up to you. Here we go. So let's paste that in there. There we go. So that's my introductory paragraph, okay? There is my introduction, and it is now ready, and now I can write body 1, body 2, the conclusion, and it should be fairly fluid and smooth. So the age of maturity has changed in different times and different places throughout history. Many people feel that teenagers from the age of 15 have reached a level of maturity whereby they can make appropriate life choices. Whether or not this is true has an important impact on the development of future generations in work and family life. In my experience, most 15-year-old adolescents are not yet old enough to make important life decisions. Neither do they possess the social or mental ability, social, mental, or physical maturity to guarantee optimum outcomes. Therefore, society should not change existing rules, but rather encourage parents and teachers to be active participants in these vital choices. Now, if I feel like I'm a Band 8, Band 9 IELTS student, I could actually do 3 body paragraphs. I could do one on social capacity of 15-year-olds, one on mental capacity of 15-year-olds, and one on physical capacity. And at home, we have to figure out if they are in the right order. So should I write about social, then mental, then physical? If not, then I should change it in my thesis, okay? And in my opinion, it's not ideal because I feel that it would be best or easiest to write about physical first and then write about social. Because social, in my opinion, takes a greater importance than physical even. And I'm going to take out mental because I don't want to do 3 paragraphs. Okay, so I want to do just 2 paragraphs. And I want to structure it as physical first and then social. So I want to express firstly in my body paragraph 1 that 15-year-olds are not physically mature enough to know how the world really works and what they need and want from it. And they are not yet then able to make those important life decisions. And then the second one about social maturity, which will be even more detailed. Okay? Marwa, that works too. New lifestyles have a great impact on the age of maturity. That will work as well. Okay, so let's go to body paragraph 1. And for body paragraph 1, I'm going to write about the physical maturity or immaturity of 15-year-olds, okay, to back up my argument. So first, I need a topic sentence. Now, moving along here nice and smooth for you members because I want to give you a good idea of how I would approach this question for that high band score in the IELTS. So here's my topic sentence. Okay, so that's my topic sentence. That explains right away to the reader that I don't think they're mature enough physically by the age of 15. Although most people by the age of 15 have undergone many physical changes as a result of puberty. Okay, puberty are the physiological changes that take place as we mature from children to teenager to adults. and they are not yet fully developed men or women. Okay. Um, okay. So here I'm already getting into my explanation, right? So what do I mean that they're not fully developed men and women? And of course, keeping a clean mind here, right? So we are talking about sexual maturity, obviously, but what does that mean? So beyond the concept of sexuality, what does that mean? That means our physical strength is not at optimal or maximum levels yet. Our hormones are unbalanced, so we have emotional imbalances, and we have yet to understand our new physical form. Okay, so we have to understand our own body. And we can argue that most 15-year-olds are not yet ready to understand what they are becoming and to be able to handle that change. Okay, so that can be argued. All right. So okay, and then I include a little bit more explanation here because let's not forget what we're talking about here. The controlling idea is 15-year-olds making life decisions, all right? When you're practicing writing task 2 essays at home, a very important skill, members and everybody else who's watching, is to always hold the idea of the controlling parts and the topic while writing. So never forget what you're actually writing about and what that question is. So what am I writing about? 15-year-olds. What question am I answering here? Are they mature enough or are they not mature enough to make important life decisions? So we always come back to that. And Farheen, you're right that girls develop at an earlier age than boys, and that does have an impact on this question. But for IELTS, because we're not writing a book or we're not writing a 10-page essay, I would not deviate and separate men and women, okay? Because you can get into a very tricky and long essay if you start talking about maturity, not just by age 15, but by age 15 according to men and women. And then you have to talk about making rules differently for men and women. Although it's true in some parts of the world, that's the direction that society is going. For IELTS Task 2, don't forget, you're writing maybe 300, maybe 320 words. Don't go into girls mature faster than boys because I think you'll get lost. And in the end, you'll run out of time and the essay will be incomplete or unclear ideas and you'll get a lower score. So know your parameters, okay? Know your limits in the IELTS exam. 40 minutes, 300 words. I wouldn't go male-female direction. The question doesn't ask about men and women distinctions, so I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Okay, I would just keep it general in this case. All right, so far I have my topic, my explanation, now my example. Okay, very visual, very quick, right? So what is a quick visual example of raging teenager hormones, sexuality, physical maturity that's happening at the age of 15, whether it's a guy or girl? I just met the love of my life. I had my first kiss and everything was magical. I'm going to get married to this person. We're going to have 10 children. And I know my mom and my dad aren't even going to let me see my friends, so I'm going to run away with them, move to another country, jump into a Cadillac convertible or on horseback and ride off into the distance. And then 1 week later, 2 weeks later, guess what? It's that first broken heart, and then comes the crying and the frustration and the anger, and then we realize, well, that wasn't the true love of my life. I think that's an example that's very true for most parts of the world. For 15-year-olds, it would be tough for someone to convince me otherwise. And that right there is a great example of why it might be a really bad idea to support a 15-year-old when they're making this decision. I'm sure if my daughter, when she's 15, if she wanted to run away with the first love of her life, I would probably say, no, that's not happening. So speaking from my own life, that example would back up that explanation just nicely. Okay? All right. So again, remember, the question includes the concept of, Mahe, thank you, strengthening that with the broken heart emoticon. And that emoticon probably came about to express this very situation. Remember the original question, right? Should communities then change rules and parents and teachers should just accept this? Well, I'm saying no, right? Definitely not. So here, I want to finish that up, and it's a very good connecting, concluding sentence to this paragraph. Therefore, it is the responsibility of parents and teachers to safeguard the physical and emotional states of these youth, okay? There, I'm quite confident I've done enough for body paragraph 1, especially because, as I mentioned, body paragraph 2, the social aspect of immaturity at the age of 15 is arguably even more critical or more important. And guess what, members? I'm going to leave that to you, okay? I think that you are very clear now of what this question's asking, what you're doing, how we've structured this. You can write, if you think, hey, 15-year-olds, they're old enough, smart enough, let them make their own life choices, and you want to rewrite the whole essay from scratch with that approach, do it, okay? The most important point, do it, okay? Like Nike says in their logo or in their tag, just do it, okay? So just do it. And I'll wait for those essay endings in my email, okay? And then I can give you a band score estimate, and maybe, hopefully I'll have enough time, give you a little bit of feedback on what you need to adjust or change in your writing to improve your band score, okay? So again, homework, finish this essay with body paragraph 2, okay? Body paragraph 2, if you're following with my essay, should be about 15-year-olds are not yet socially mature enough to make important life decisions. But I'll leave it to you. If you want to take your own direction and go the other way and say that they are, then rewrite the whole essay, send it to me, okay? All right. So, members, beautiful participation today. Power to you. That's what you need to do. And members, don't be shy. Connect with each other to do speaking practice as well, okay? Just be cautious, of course, with personal information if you do that. But most people that are members of our channel, I assume, are here because they're serious about IELTS. They want to get good band scores, so reach out to each other, help each other out. All right. Again, you're sending this work to my email, adrian@aehelp.com, when you're finished that homework. For all of our viewers, thank you for attending. We will continue with our live classes on Wednesday, where everybody will be able to chat. Until then, don't be shy. Check us out at aehelp.com for academic IELTS. gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Join our premium course. It's well worth it. You have lots of examples there, videos, interactive course, practice exams. Marwa, you're very welcome. Naveen, you're very welcome. You've all done a fantastic job. Farheen, you're very welcome. Have an awesome rest of your Sunday. I wish you all lots of energy and lots of confidence. Believe in yourself. You're all brilliant minds. I believe in you. Bye for now. See you on Wednesday.